Hi everyone, Kelly here, and so today I want to talk about the books that I plan on reading in May. I was starting to put together a pile of possibilities to read, and I went a little overboard and I had too many, so I decided I'm not going to show you everything that I am like thinking in my head that I might want to read, because last month I went and had a ton of stuff in my TBR video and didn't read the majority of it because I got distracted by other things. So today, only thing I'm going to talk about are 2 readathons that I have, like 4 books per readathon. So being tame, and then I'm going to pull my series options because I've been trying to like continue some series that I have on my shelves and then like start some series that I've bought the first book of. So that's all I'm going to talk about, but I just keep in mind that in my head I have all these other things I want to read, but I'm trying to keep it simple in the TBR video, because even though I don't feel like obligated to read everything that's in a TBR video, I do start to like, I know this last month I was nowhere close to have read like even half of those books, and so I was starting to like put a little pressure on myself, and there's just no reason to put pressure on myself. So I just wanted to kind of focus on those readathons and my series goal. So the first readathon that I'm really excited about is Keisha from A Book Like You is hosting with a friend of hers from Instagram. I'll link them both down below because the other one, I don't remember her name, but she only has an Instagram account, but I'll link that announcement video down below. But she is putting on a spooky middle grade readathon, which I love spooky middle grade reads, and sometimes I forget to read them except for in the fall, but you know, I enjoy reading them at any time of the year, so I think it's fun that she's doing this readathon in May, which is kind of like halfway between, you know, to fall, so it gives me an excuse to read some of these books because I own a lot of them on my shelf. So I picked 1 per each of the prompts, and this readathon is running the first week of May. So the first prompt is to read a book with some kind of either mixed media or pictures, and so I picked Juniper Berry by M.P. Kozlowski, and this one has like some illustrations, like full page illustrations in it, and so that's why I picked that one for this prompt. I picked all ones that are relatively shorter books so that I could read 4 in a week, so hopefully I'll get to all 4 of these. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. It's kind of, it seems to be kind of more of like a fable type story. And then the next prompt is to pick a book with something on the cover that scares you, and I picked The Forgotten Girl by India Hill Brown. And the reason I picked this is that I have this thing with eyes, like if somebody's eyes look wrong in a picture, like a horror type thing, it freaks me out. And this little girl, I don't know if you could see it on there, but like she has basically all black eyes. So there's no, you know, iris or white of the eye. It's just all black. So that freaks me out a little bit. So that's why I picked this one. And this one is a more like modern, like this one's like more like fable type thing. This one I think is more contemporary, about some kids that stumble upon something in a cemetery. And then the next one was to pick a book that has some kind of creepy word in the title, and so I picked The Legend of Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruchik, and this one, skeleton, is obviously the creepy word, and this is actually a bind up of 2 books, so I probably will only read the first one. So it's Skeleton Man and The Return of Skeleton Man, but skeleton is in both of the titles, so I might not read both books in this one. I might just read the first one in order to like fit it in to the week. And this one is about a girl whose dad always tells her kind of scary stories about the skeleton man, and then like I think her father or parents go missing, and so she thinks maybe the skeleton man is real. And the last one is the group book. They picked a book to read together, and it happened to be a book that I own, so I figure I should join in with the group read, and that's For Strange Star by Emma Carroll. And I've been meaning to pick up Emma Carroll because one of the things I love in spooky middle grade books is when they're like historical fiction, so they're either set in history or like alternative history or something like that, and that is combined with kind of the spooky thing, and that's what this is. And it takes place, I think, in like a spooky house. Oh yeah, it takes place in 1816 in a spooky house, and you can even see that on the cover, so I think that'll be fun. So those are the 4 books I have for that readathon at the beginning of the month. And the other readathon that I want to participate in is through Instagram, and the Instagram is Emily is Overbooked. I'll link her Instagram down below, and she's hosting a month-long readathon called May I Read More Nonfiction, I think is what it's called. And basically the point is just to read nonfiction in May, and to read at least 1 chapter of a nonfiction book every day, so that you can, I mean, that could be, you can read 1 book and only read, like if it has 31 chapters in it, then you have completed the readathon. I did pick more than one book because I wanted to pick some that would be like the thing I would read physically if I'm in the mood for a physical read, and then some that could be an audiobook so I can make sure that I read a chapter a day. Because if I only pick a physical book and I just don't have any time for physical reading in that day, then I will have failed the readathon. So I wanted to have something that I could, you know, just listen to while I'm doing chores or things like that, so that I would make sure that I am at least either listening or reading one chapter a day. And so I picked 4 books, but I don't expect to finish all 4. I just wanted options so that if I'm listening to a book and I want to listen to more than one chapter and one day and I end up finishing it halfway through the month, I would have another audiobook lined up. So I actually picked 3 audiobooks and 1 physical book. So the one physical book that on days when I have time for it is Body Talk. And this is edited by Kelly Jensen, but it's a combination of a bunch of essays about the body and covers all kinds of things from size, shape, scoliosis, eating disorders, cancer, anything about the body. And so this, sometimes essay collections I don't like to read straight through, so this is kind of nice to only read a little section at a time. But if I don't have time to pick this up physically, I have audiobook options. The first audiobook option is Cleopatra by Stacie Schiff. I was supposed to read this in April when I was doing kind of my ancient Rome reading and didn't. So that's kind of first priority as the first audiobook I'm going to pick up. But I have a feeling if I really get into this, I might end up reading it in like a week, like I said. So I have other ones to pick up. And if I finish that one, I will pick up The Soul of an Octopus by Montgomery. And I had started this actually several months ago. I read the first chapter and then I just didn't continue, but now I have the audiobook, and so once I finish Cleopatra, I will pick this one up. And then if I happen to finish both of those 2 audiobooks, I have a big one that I definitely will not finish, so I will make sure that I complete the readathon, and that's Leonardo da Vinci by Walter Isaacson. And this is huge, and this is one where I would listen to the audiobook but then follow along in the book because it has, like, you know, all of his art and things like that in there. So I want to be able to do kind of a mixed read of this one. So my focus would probably be on these 3. And then if I just get really ambitious and finish all of those 3, I have Leonardo da Vinci as a backup option. So I make sure I can read at least a chapter a day for the entire month. And so those are the 2 readathons that I'm definitely participating in. So the only thing left to do is to pull my series jars, and I will let you know that I am going to be doing a specific like special thing for my birthday week. I'm going to have a friend of mine pick out my TBR, so you'll find out, you know, it's all secret to me. I don't even know what those books are. She'll be doing the recording and I'll watch it in the vlog, and I will vlog reading those things for my birthday week, which is in the middle of May. So, you know, after that, so around like the 20th of May, be on the lookout that I will be posting a vlog where I read recommendations from a friend. But now let's pull the books for series that I want to read. So I'm going to start with my continuing series. I like to put them in like a bigger container so I can actually shove these up. And so what I do with these is I pull 3 and then I have to read one of those. Last month I pulled 6 and I needed to read 2. I finished one, but I'm still in the middle of the other one. So I will be continuing that one, but I just want to give myself new options for this coming month. So, okay, perfect, because I really wanted to read some sci-fi this month, and I picked Arc of a Scythe. So the next one I have, I'm not going to pull them out right now because they're all over my shelf, so I'll put a picture. The next one I have is Thunderhead in the Scythe books, and I did end up, I was going to read Thunderhead a couple months ago, so I had read through like a very thorough summary of the first book, so I am very much ready to read Thunderhead. So that's one option. And then another, this is a dystopian, so it's once again sci-fi. I have Seabound Chronicles, and this would be the second book. Put a picture of that here. And this, so I've got 2 dystopians, and then I have Immortals, which is good because that's a series by Tamara Pierce, and I had just recently read book 2. I think, yeah, during Middle Grade March, I read book 2. So it would be nice to continue right away. And now on to my new series. I didn't pull any of these last month because I was really trying to continue some series, which didn't really succeed because I ended up, like I said, finishing one book, but then only getting partway through the other one. So I didn't really spend much time focusing on continuing series. But I'm not going to beat myself up. I did pick up the next book. So that's what really matters. Picking it up and getting it on my currently reading shelf. All right, so I'm going to pick 3 of these new ones to start. First one, okay, first one's a nonfiction, so fits in perfectly with that nonfiction readathon, so I could sub it out for one of those other ones, and that's the James Harriott Memoirs. James Harriott was a veterinarian, I think around like either World War I or World War II, sometime in the early 1900s. He was a veterinarian, and I used to read a lot of his like vet stories as like animal stories as a kid. And the next one is the Emily series. So this is by Ellen Montgomery. So I have read the Anne books, and I had bought all 3 books in the Emily series, but haven't started it, obviously. So that's an option. And then the last option is, okay, Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes. I think, is that the Beekeeper's Apprentice? I'll have to look it up and put it here. So that one wasn't one that was like really on my radar to start. So I have a feeling, just thinking about right now, that I'll probably either read the Emily book or the James Harriott memoir, but I have the Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes as an option. That's it for me. Those are the books that I am planning on reading in May. Are you participating in any readathons in May, or have you read any of these books and want to talk about them? I will see you next time. Bye.